Are you struggling to look, feel, and perform at your best? Then this is for you. Hi, I'm Sylvia Evans. I'm a life, health, and performance coach. I deal with many clients within the corporate environment, and I myself have been in that space for over a decade. I used to work for the likes of Goldman Sachs, Barclays Capital, ING, and Deutsche Bank in various positions, from being an employee straight to contracting and consulting, and have experienced a myriad of different scenarios of what can impact our body, mind, and soul, and trying to have that balancing act of getting that all in order and looking and feeling and performing at my best, but slightly being overwhelmed and drained and all of the other stuff that comes with that. And came to realize that through the process of me feeling that, I realized there must be so many others that feel that way. So since 2018, I've been working on how to actually get from just surviving to thriving, and built a blueprint along that line to be able to get my clients from that point of just feeling like, oh, I feel completely overwhelmed. I don't have energy, not even to play with my kids or to deal with my partner. I am snapping at the very minimal of things. It's not really feeling that positive in my mind. Hope has dwindled a bit. So all of those things through to being thriving, like having hope, wanting to do things, get up in the morning, go, being able to experience new things, using creativity again. So those things are so important. And during my journey, this is what I found, that if our mindset isn't in the right place, it is very difficult to get the body and the soul in the right place. So the mind, if you may, is, as you know, the computer or the mainframe of our operating system. So that is what helps us to operate. And it also is the single most blueprint that is provided for how we operate. Now, if our mindset continuously tells us negative things, so that we would never amount to anything, or we'll never lose weight, or we'll never be able to eat healthily, then that will always be the blueprints unless it's changed. Now, thankfully, due to neuroplasticity, we can change our mindset, so rewire the brain in ways. So by creating new neurons or nodes that would be able to connect. But it's not all that scientific. In practical terms, what does that look like? It is changing the way that we think. Now, the way that we do that is to first gain awareness about our thoughts, to say, what are we thinking at the moment? Is that negative? Is it positive? Is it something that is helping us or hindering us? If it's something that's negative or hindering, then we can stop it in its tracks. So how we do that is identify the thought, disagree with it, say, no, that is not the case, and then replace it with a more positive thought that still reflects the truth. So for instance, if I were to say, I can never lose weight, I can say, replace that thought with, in the past, I've struggled to lose weight, but I know I'd be able to do that in future. So it's creating a different dynamic and allows the brain to change the blueprint. Because if that blueprint still remains the same, then it does not matter how many diets, how much exercise, or what kind of detoxes you do, it is not going to get you to the place if the mind still has the old blueprint. So that's why mindset is incredibly important. Now, moving on to the body side. Now, this is always interesting for me because I'm breaking this down into mind, body, and soul, but it's all interconnected. And that's why it's so hard sometimes to get some of these right, because it needs to be in balance for it all to work. And so with the body, it actually, if we do exercise, it does impact the brain. So we generate serotonin, we have happy hormones, so endorphins, and we are able to actually create an enlightened state within the mind when we do exercise. So if we do movement, that is something that we can help to impact the mind. So you can see it works the other way around, where we can also use the mind to impact the body, where we can say, look, I know I will feel better if I do this, and I will just do 3 minutes. And if I, after 3 minutes, do not feel like working out anymore or walking or doing that, then I'll stop. But at least you get yourself to start moving, because usually that is the hardest part. So that's one of my top tips for you, is just take a smaller chunk and start with that smaller chunk, and then see if you feel like, if your body and your brain has come into alignment and is willing to continue, which usually is the case. So with the body as well, why is it so important to nourish it? So again, we've got so much scientific information these days available to us, which is fantastic, which is showing the gut-brain link. Now, when we're eating sugary foods, a lot of food, so more than our portion sizes, it impacts our gut. So it creates bad bacteria in the gut, and sometimes it can also cause us to get some kind of colon deficiencies, and the villi, so the bits that absorbs the nutrients, don't work as well anymore. So then you are looking at celiac diseases, and also like gluten intolerances and all of that stuff, which might not have been there in the beginning. So we are wanting to ensure that we nourish our bodies correctly. Now you're like, yeah, I know this. So how do I do that? So top tip for nourishing your body is get rid of everything out of your kitchen or in your sight that can possibly be of temptation to you. Now, it starts with practical solutions before you can employ self-discipline. Now, I'd say self-discipline like that because actually our habits determine our disciplines. So if we can get our habits in place, and then we won't really need to apply that much of the self-discipline per se. So if you've been beating yourself up, I have no self-discipline, I'm not doing this, that is not your fault. What can be dealt with is if we say, I don't have time, or I don't have the ability. Those things we can deal with, because not saying I don't have time just means that you are not prioritizing what is important. So it means that there's time for everything else that I prioritize, but there's not time for me and for my health. So that is a complete different scenario as well. So otherwise with the body, another thing that you can do is hydrate. Now I mention this often, and it's so important that you drink 35 milliliters per body K of weight. So if you're 100 kgs, you need to drink 3.5 liters of water per day, which is the easiest way to allow your body to function in a correct manner, in an optimal manner. And it's also then giving you the ability to lose weight and flush out toxins really quickly. Now, very easy way, carry a water bottle around with you wherever you go. That will allow you to see the water and hopefully act on it. And then at some point you'll become part of your habits to know, oh, I feel a bit thirsty, I'll have a drink. Then the other thing is our soul. So we've looked at the mind, then the body, and now the soul. So we mentioned that the mind and the body is connected, but obviously the mind and this body and the soul is also connected. So we can connect with our soul through whatever your religious practices are, but from a spirituality point of view, you can also connect with your soul through just being mindful. Being in nature takes us back to that source as well, where things feel connected and it's nourishing the soul. So if you can get yourself out in nature at least 2 to 3 times a week, that is at least a beginning to transform the way that you feel from the inside out. Also being mindful, like really paying attention to what you are doing within that moment. That allows you both to be present for others, but also it allows you to connect with those around you. And if it's being present, let's say in a car, it means that you can feel the steering wheel. You can feel you actually consciously moving the pedals. You can see the trees around you. You can smell the air. It is an interactive way of living where if we go on autopilot, it's just go, 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 without actually experiencing any of it, because we somewhere lost in thoughts about what we are going to do in that meeting, what I said yesterday, how that person interprets my being just in general. So there's so many different things that can distract us. And the important thing here is to ensure that you can be in that moment and present. And you can also do that through meditation, can help you to connect. There's so much scientific evidence that shows the benefits of meditating. And also to just have a really good morning routine and evening routine can also help you just to feel more connected, because ultimately we want to feel centered, connected with ourselves, and that would also allow us then to be centered and connected with other people. So there you have it. I hope that helps. It's 3 bits we covered: the mind, the body, and the soul. And if you have any questions or want to let me know how you are getting on and what you do for mind, body, and soul nourishing, then do let me know in the comments or reach out to me on any of the socials. I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Have a good one.